This study is an urgent wake-up call to investigate the causes of the sharp, ongoing drop in sperm count.
Blessed are the eyes that see what you see. For I tell you, many kings and prophets have desired to see what you see, and have not seen it. To hear what you hear, and have not heard it. I thank you, Father, for hiding these things from the learned and the wise, and revealing them to the innocent and the simple.
Have sperm counts declined? Definitely yes. Our international team of researchers screened 7,500 studies for the first ever meta-analysis on trends in sperm counts. From 1973 to 2011, we found an alarming decline of over 50% in both sperm concentration and total sperm count among men from Western countries unselected by their fertility. When we restricted the analysis to studies after 1995, we found no sign that the decline is leveling off. In other words, the decline continues. These findings have wide implications for public health. Sperm count is the best measure of male fertility. Furthermore, recent evidence shows that low sperm count also predicts morbidity and mortality. Previous studies have associated low sperm count with environmental and lifestyle influences, including prenatal chemical exposure, adult pesticide exposure, smoking, stress, and obesity. This study is an urgent wake-up call to investigate the causes of the sharp, ongoing drop in sperm count.
I think this is a wake-up call.
Researchers analyzed 185 previous studies involving almost 43,000 men. From 1973 to 2011, both sperm concentration and overall sperm count declined more than 50% in men from North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand.
It can't be genetic. It's much too fast for genetic changes. And so it's got to be environmental.
Dwindling sperm counts have been linked to exposure to some chemicals in things like plastics and nicotine, especially in the womb. Doctors say a mother who smokes while pregnant does greater damage to her son's future sperm count than if the son smokes himself as an adult.
I do believe this study is showing us a real trend that may very well be the term we use is the canary in the coal mine.
Recent studies show reduced sperm count related to increased heart disease, prostate cancer, and early death. And if something in the environment is disrupting hormones, it's not just men who have to worry.
It's not something that is limited only to the man who has an interest in building a family. It can be telling us something about all of our health.
The rare late-night launch shot a ballistic missile into space. It remained airborne for more than 40 minutes, flying 1,000 kilometers due east before splashing into the Sea of Japan. Pentagon intelligence analysts have been surprised by the fast technological advances made by North Korea's weapons scientists. Recent North Korean propaganda videos have featured the U.S. Capitol in flames. Analysts do believe that the missile launched today did have the range to hit Los Angeles, Chicago, or even New York. It is unclear how close North Korea is to being able to arm a missile with a nuclear warhead.
So they've been saying it for a long time. I think the difference is we're coming to believe them. We're in a relationship where we can destroy them and they can destroy us, and we may not like it, but that's where we are.
War in the Korean Peninsula would be terrible. However, a nuclear weapon detonating in Los Angeles would be terrible.
General Milley says the threat is serious and it's not going in a good direction. He says North Korea is a country with a wide variety of missiles, a sizable conventional force, along with chemical and nuclear weapons.
A war on the Korean Peninsula would be highly deadly. It would be horrific. The United States military, in combination with the South Korean military, would utterly destroy the North Korean military, but that would be done at high cost.
But the general says we are at a point in time where tough choices will have to be made.
We are going to have to make conscious decisions that are going to have significant consequences. And I'll just stop there. But it's not going to be a pretty picture, I can tell you that. It'll be very violent.
Violent and very likely deadly for all sides involved.
Democratic People's Republic of Korea's state-run television has released a statement on why the country conducted its recent intercontinental ballistic missile test. KRT News said the launch was to send a stern warning to the US on their sanctions on the DPRK, adding that the US is losing their mind. It says in case the US fails to come to its own senses and continues to resort to military adventure and tough sanctions, Pyongyang will respond with its resolute act of justice, as already declared. Following Friday's ballistic missile launch, the US flew 2 supersonic B-1 bombers over the Korean peninsula on Sunday in a show of force. Earlier this week, the US Congress voted in favor of fresh sanctions on the DPRK.
Russia warns it is close to retaliating after a new United States sanctions bill was passed in the House of Representatives. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabakov said the country has repeatedly warned the U.S. it would retaliate against what it saw as hostile moves, adding it has grown tired of showing restraint. A prominent Russian lawmaker member also said on Facebook that further degradation of bilateral cooperation is becoming inevitable. Tuesday's sanction package passed in the U.S. Congress is believed to be targeting the Kremlin as well as the White House. And President Trump has not decided when or whether to sign the bill. But experts believe Trump is unlikely to exercise his veto right, considering sanctions on the Democratic People's Republic of Korea are in the same package.
There has been a major joint counter-terrorism operation to disrupt a terrorist plot to bring down an aeroplane.
An Australian terrorist attack thwarted overnight, raising concerns worldwide about airline security.
We do believe it is Islamic-inspired terrorism.
4 suburbs across capital city Sydney raided Saturday evening by heavily armed police. 4 men are now under arrest. Australian police officials believe the foiled plot involved an improvised device.
The first thing that the Australian security forces are concerned about is, did we get everybody? Is it just these 4, or were there other individuals who were involved? Did they find information about the scope and scale of this network? Were they part of a broader plot or a group like Al-Qaeda or ISIS?
Protesters in Venezuela took to the streets again on Friday to demonstrate against a legislative superbody to be elected on Sunday. Critics have called the vote a plan by President Nicolas Maduro to create a dictatorship. There were fewer protesters on Friday than there had been earlier in the week amid tropical downpours and a government ban on demonstrations. Venezuelans have been protesting against Maduro for several months now, with the country in a grip of severe economic crisis.
A car bomb explosion in the Somalian capital of Mogadishu on Sunday killed 6 people and wounded 20 others. Police say the death toll is likely to rise. The bomb went off on the busy Muka al-Mukarram road. A witness said the blast was followed by big clouds of smoke in the sky. No group has claimed responsibility for the bombing.
6 people have died and 3 are missing in northwest China's Shanxi province following heavy rains which triggered floods. While the weather woes have affected over 58,000 people and 70,000 have been relocated. About 2,000 hectares of crop fields are damaged, with the direct economic loss expected to reach $34 million. Power supplies, telecommunication, and traffic have been affected by the torrential rains. The provincial weather forecast expects rains to persist until Saturday, and the Yellow River Flood Control and Drought Relief Headquarters is warning the provinces of Shanxi, Henan, and Shandong to bracing up for the floods around the river.
U.S. Senate Republicans have failed to dismantle Obamacare. 3 Republican senators, John McCain, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski, crossed party lines in a dramatic 49-51 vote to reject the bill that aimed to kill some parts of the Affordable Care Act. Now, that setback now leaves President Donald Trump without a major legislative win after more than 6 months in power, and despite his party controlling the White House, the Senate, and the House.
My final word tonight is a reminder to our elected Republicans, you work for us and you're not working hard enough. You know, Sean, it's funny, the Republican Party leading up to November 8th looks a whole lot different from the Republican Party of summer 2017, the party that can't seem to come together to do what they promised, and that is repeal Obamacare. Yet, when they were out campaigning, they were pretty confident they could repeal Obamacare. They were pretty confident when we voted for them, but now what? Republicans, the honeymoon is over. Now is your time. If you worked harder trying to get elected than you are currently working on behalf of the American people, we have a major priority problem. Sean, the Democrats won't beat us in 2018 or 2020 with their protests, their resistance, their pink hats, or their Russia nonsense. The only way they will beat us is if we sit back and waste our time, if we sit back and fail the American people, if we let this golden opportunity slip away. The American people won't forgive the GOP for that. There is no reason we can't repeal and replace Obamacare. When will our Republican senators get on board? When will they put aside the self-righteous BS and do what we sent them to Washington to do? Don't let us down. Remember who you're fighting for. The average, everyday, hardworking Americans counting on you to get rid of failed Obamacare and give us a common sense healthcare fix that doesn't crush the middle class or bury us in red tape.